So I'm updating my pedal board. This is my old setup that I used for quite some time. Let me show you the signal path. The input was going into the EQ right here, Mooer EQ, into the yellow compressor, into the Boss Harmonist for on harmonies and pitch shifting. Then I went into the line selector, the LX2. Then it splits the output. One was going into the Zoom MS70 CDR, and the other was going on the bottom here into the tuner, acoustic simulator, super overdrive, and my DIY fuzz, Muff kind of fuzz. The reason for that is you can switch effects easily, and the other reason is you can do some kind of parallel effects loop, which I really like. And the acoustic simulator has a second output, so you can play some acoustic sounding tunes and electric sounding tunes at the same time. I used for songs like Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams. One loop went into the acoustic simulator and the other one went into the Multistomp from Zoom to create the slicer effect, the heavy tremolo. And because of its second output of the acoustic simulator, that went into the PA, so I got a nice double sounding guitar. Output of the line selector was going into this Valeton Coral Mod and then going into my amp. So I'm changing this whole stuff around because mainly I want this thing in the effects loop because it has the best effects for effects loop. The other effects will be nice in front of the amp. So that was my old setup. It was all kind of daisy chained and it was kind of noisy. So I brought this thing. It's the Moen GEC8 Junior, which has 8 loops. It also has foot switches to control my amplifier. So because of this thing, I won't be needing my Boss line selector. I've got 8 effects left and my tuner. So let's change this around so it fits everything in for my new setup. This is going right here. It almost fits. It's like there's a little overhang on both sides, but that's okay. Now the pedalboard I'm using is a T-Rex ToneTrunk, and it can hold like 10 pedals. This is going to be my new setup. The guitar is going into the Moen GEC8 Junior, into the tuner for the separate output. Loop 1 is going to be my Boss Harmonist. Loop 2 is going to be my Valeton Coral Mod with some things like Auto War and U-Vibe. It's going into the yellow comp for Loop 3. Loop 4 and Loop 5 are going to be my acoustic simulator. I'll explain that in a minute. Loop 6 is going to be my super overdrive, and loop 7 my DIY Muff. Then the guitar output is going to the amplifier, and loop 8 is going to be my Zoom Multistomp. And I decided I don't need the little Mooer EQ because I rarely use it, and there's also an EQ in the Multistomp. This is the bottom of my pedal board. It's the T-Rex ToneTrunk. For the power supply there's the T-Rex Chameleon, and I've also built a patch bay for the inputs and outputs. This is the colored side. This is for the pedal snake multi-cable that I'll be making later. Let's get this. As you can see, this is loop 8 is a mono loop, and I'm gonna use it in stereo for my Zoom Multistomp. So instead of using loop 8, I'm just gonna use this switch to switch this patch bay, and it turns my mono loop into a stereo loop. So let's build. So I finished building my pedal board, and it's a little bit messy right on this side. You know, there's a lot of cables going on. Some cables are a bit too long, others are a bit too short, so I have to order some better matching cables next time. But for now it will do. So let's power it up, see if it works. Alright, let's turn on the other pedals. This one and the tuner, and power up the amp. I'm plugged into my Marshall Valvestate 8280, and for the acoustic simulator it has a separate output. For this test I will plug it into my Blackstar HD1, in the line input that is. And I'm playing my HSS Stratocaster. Well, apparently it works. Let's tune it. That's the best thing about a polyphonic tuner. You can tune all 6 strings at the same time. So now it's in recall mode. Let's plug it into... oh, that's noisy. Let's see. Program mode. Alright, now you can test each loops in a separate way. So loop 1 is my Harmonist. That seems to work. Loop 2 is my Valeton Coral Mod with a bright blue LED. It's currently doing some tremolo. And now it's in U-vibe mode. This is my Mooer yellow comp. Now loop 4 is my acoustic simulator. Yeah, it sounds better when you plug it into a PA, but this will do for now. Now I made a Y cable. Loop 4 is going into my acoustic simulator, and it's also going back to loop 5. So now when I do this, loop 4 is engaged, as you can see on the GEC8 Junior. I'm gonna engage loop 5 now. Now my regular output is also engaged. So there's a electric guitar signal going to my Marshall amp, and an acoustic simulated signal going to my Blackstar HD1. Alright, it's quite loud. Turn it down a little bit. So now I got both an acoustic and an electric sound at the same time. As you can see, let's turn on. As you can see, the channel switching also seems to work. It's the overdrive channel, also the chorus on the Marshall amp, which I can switch now, and both. Right, seems to work. Let's go to loop number 6, which is my overdrive. Sounds better when as a kind of solo boost. Loop 6 is my Muff. It's a little bit noisy, so no overdrive for you. So now the amp's clean, and with the dirty amp, it's a little bit noisy, just a little bit. And loop 8, yeah, well, there's no loop 8, but it switches the patch box that I made is underneath the pedal board, and that switches the Zoom Multistomp. And the reason I did that is because my Marshall amp has a stereo FX loop, and the Zoom Multistomp is a stereo unit. So instead of just going into a mono loop, it's using a stereo loop. And now I've got a stereo delay set up in the Multistomp. It sounds like this. Yeah, it sounds nice with my the stereo chorus engaged also on the amp. So yeah, I haven't made any patches yet on my Moen GEC8 Junior, but I'm gonna do it later. Let's see, we've got a nice see the Muff and the chorus.